All right, in this video we're going to do the installation of SonarQube. We are going to start off with our database setup as SonarQube has talked about. We're first going to create a new database, call it SonarQube, and we are a few options we need to set on this. The first is the language type, so collation as they'll call it, so Latin, case sensitive. So it is that. Latin 1 general 100, I think. Let me double check on this. Pause this. Nope, not the 100. Sorry. It is this one. General CSAS. And the other thing is, one other item we need to do is what they call is read commit snapshot on is set to true. So we will go to is read set snapshot. Now this is a 2017, but would be the same in 2016. So moving forward. Anyway, so we've got that name, and click OK, and it will create a blank database. So we have SonarQube as our database. Also want to create a login for that guy. So new login. I'll create a SQL login. You can do a trusted authentication, but I'd much rather do this. SonarQube service. Password. Whatever you want it to be. We won't enforce the policy because we don't want it to change. And server roles, user mapping is what we want. And we want to make sure they are an owner of this guy because he's going to do a whole lot of stuff. Say OK. All right, so now we have the database set up. We have an account set up with a username and password with full permissions to that database. I'm going to pause for a second and we're going to move next to our build server. All right, we're back on our build server. So I have build 03, and this server is, let me show you a few items that you're going to need. So on my C drive under temp, I have identified a few things. You're going to need Java. You don't need .NET Core 1.1 or 2.2 unless your project is 2.2 and so forth. Framework 4.7.2, you'll need that. SonarQube, of course. Visual Studio will be needed for our build agent for TFS, so you'll find that that comes in real handy later on. So we actually just load up the community edition. You also find Beartail is a good tool to use to watch the logs for SonarQube. So we'll have that. It's just a free little utility. And I have some stuff here for SonarQube, some of the config file changes that I made. So I save them so we have them. All right, so let's start off first with installing Java. We're installing Java 8.191 for 64-bit. Let this start up. Mind you, I may run into some like, hey, you want to reinstall it things because I did install it before. All right, next. We're just going to let it pick its defaults. Yep, we're all good. Okay. Gonna leave it to same, not going to change anything, let Java do its thing. Alright, it's going to now install. I'm going to let it do its thing, so I will pause this and come back when it's done. Alright, we're back. So Java did install. We're good there. We can just close this out now. So we're good with Java installed on the machine. Next up will be Visual Studio, and we will be doing the Community Edition. That we don't have to worry about licensing and so forth. We have the web piece here, so it'll pull most of the stuff down for Visual Studio 2017 Community Edition. And first it needs to fetch all the files and come back. So we'll give this a minute before it comes up and presents us with a menu on what to select for the options of installation. FYI, these are 2019 servers. Those 2016 should be exactly the same, so not that much of a difference between the group. And should be no difference between the instructions I'm giving you here. All right. I'm going to pause it while it goes and thinks. All right, so we're done. We're back now where it presents you what you want to install of the Visual Studio. So we will select a few items, even though it's kind of overkill. I still like to do them. So we have the .NET Desktop, Universal, ASP.NET, Azure Development Kit. Again, it's overkill. While we're here, we'll select off a whole bunch of other things. The frameworks, just because. Um, JS Node as well. Python, no. Again, it's a little bit overkill, but we will do core as well. And you'll see this takes 32 gigs, so it will take some time to install. It will also download all those files first and then do the install. This takes about an hour, so depending on your machine, this is a virtual machine. Sorry about that. This is a virtual machine, so running on a little Mac Mini, some SSD drive, so not overly powerful, but pretty good. So I'll click the install and let it do its thing, and we'll come back when everything's installed.